What's going on, everybody? Today is November 23rd. It's 10 a.m. And if you're in the United States, it's Thanksgiving. Welcome, everybody, to the Daily AI Show. Today, we're doing a special Thanksgiving episode. Wanted to come to you guys and just kind of do something fun, kind of keep it lighthearted. So far, we got myself, I'm Brian, Beth, and Andy. Welcome, guys. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving.
Good. Yeah. I feel like there are many things to be thankful for today, and different things than I thought I might not be thankful for at the beginning of the week. So it's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, well, let's dig into all that. Go ahead, Andy.
I'm grateful for the wonder of AI.
Yes.
I mean, I did not see this coming. And so this year has been, a masterclass in just how crazy artificial intelligence as an advancement in technology is, and just how pervasively it's going to influence our society. But more importantly, in my personal gratitude, it's just been so amazing to engage with this intelligence and just observe it. So thank you, whoever decided to bring this.
Did you mean me or AI? Which intelligence?
Well, it's both, really. I mean, they don't exist independently of each other in my world.
Me and AI are pretty well merged at this point. we're moving quickly towards Borg era here. So. Hey, Carl just joined us too, so I want to make sure I say welcome, Carl. Happy Thanksgiving. I know it's not Thanksgiving in Canada today, but thank you for being here for our American holiday. Your Thanksgiving was what, a month ago? Was that right?
Yeah, October 13th.
It's colder up there, so they have to do it earlier.
The turkeys don't go outside.
They don't.
So Carl, enlighten us, since we have now an international crowd here. We have 3 Americans and we got a Canadian, and Aaron's not here for the Perth perspective, so we can't ask him. But Canadian Thanksgiving, similar, different to your knowledge of what we do? Is it still turkey and stuffing and these kind of things, or is it different?
I think everything probably is the same, minus the football, minus the excitement or all the emails you get for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever, right? Because that starts in November, the month. Like, there's really nothing. It's more of like pumpkins and that kind of stuff. So I think that's the only difference.
As a former landed immigrant in Canada, I can say that it's a harvest celebration historically, but it doesn't have a lot of the commercial aspects of U.S. Thanksgiving.
Very commercialized here, obviously.
Is it the same thing, like the second Saturday? Ours is the 4th Thursday of the month.
Ours is on the Monday, so you get the weekend. So it's usually the Monday, the second Monday in October.
Second Monday. Okay.
That's cool.
And so, obviously it's an AI show I want to talk all about, but since it is Thanksgiving and people might be listening to this live, who knows, or maybe re-listening to it. I just thought, before we dive into more of the AI topics, because I am curious to talk about how we might think AI will impact Thanksgiving. And I think, Carl, you kind of just brought in my topic on this. I don't mean just the meal, Black Friday and the commercialization, all of that. So I think let's talk about that. But I'm curious for you guys, if there's got to be one thing on the table for Thanksgiving, what is the thing? What's the side dish? What's the, look, it's not Thanksgiving if this is not on the table. What is that for you, Beth?
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes, okay.
Which choice. Is just childhood, yay. Yes, and it's very specific, skin on and butter mixed in the mashed potatoes, but not overwhelming. You can add your own, but you add your own level of salt.
So is this passed through the generations, or is this like a Beth original? Like, no, Beth is like, no, you know what, this is the way you do it? Or is this something that maybe your parents or grandparents did before you?
This was my reaction to my mother saying, what would make stuffing really, really good is like a crazy amount of dill. Because prior to that, stuffing was my favorite thing. And I was like, oh no. And then there was a year with raisins. It was like, oh, stuffing can be ruined. Mashed potatoes is simple. Like I can insist on this as a thing. So
yeah. I'm with you. You got to have that staple. You got to have that thing that you can lock onto. Andy, what is it for you?
candied yams with
Ooh.
marshmallows sprinkled on top as they're baked off in a Pyrex dish. That's a classic in my household, and it's not served any other time of the year. It's just Thanksgiving, so it's signature.
Yeah.
So is that the same? And that's not the same, but my daughter, believe it or not, just asked for the same thing, which was is it called sweet potato pie? Same idea, right? Sweet potatoes mixed in with, God knows, I put a lot of butter and cinnamon and things
don't
in
forget
there.
the marshmallows.
And then the marshmallows go on top.
Yes.
Yeah, that's happening in like an hour in my house.
Very good.
We're gonna eat at noon today.
You're winning in the Thanksgiving tradition now.
What's that?
You're winning in the Thanksgiving tradition.
Yeah, exactly. Carl, you go. What's a has to be on the table?
First of all, I've never had candied yams or that ever in my entire life. Like I don't know what it is. Like every single party I've gone to, my family, like we've never had it. We've had yam mashed potatoes, but we've never had that, and it looks so good. And I'm like, I gotta think about how I'm gonna incorporate that into.
Carl, don't even let it fool you. It's literally dessert disguised and put on the table with the rest of dinner. There's nothing about it that does not taste like dessert.
Who puts marshmallow in like a vegetable dish? That's what I was saying. Like, it can't be right.
Yeah. Listen, you can call it a starch all you want. You can try to call it a vegetable. We all know what happened in that Pyrex dish, and we turned it into a dessert. So, it's just a subvert. It's a 13-year-old way, as my daughter said, that has to be on the table, Dad. And I said, I'll make it for you. I've never made it before myself. I said, I'll make it for you. And
awesome.
that's but as I was making it, I was like, I'm making dessert. The only thing missing from this is like icing, which is pretty much the marshmallows, or some sort of cake mix, which I felt like was one step away.
Resist the children's request for chocolate chips to be included.
Yeah.
Going back to, it is possible to ruin Thanksgiving foods with innovation.
Like putting chocolate chips and potato and mashed potatoes, and then putting it with a bunch of like sugar and be like, yeah, this is a vegetable. Like, no, it's not, but it will taste amazing. So
the Americans are pretty good at taking something that should have been healthy at one point and completely turning it into something else.
Or putting it into a can.
What's that?
Or putting it into a can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll can the hell out of it. Some people prefer. I mean, that's a big thing in the States. Is like, do you want can? I don't like cranberry at all, but people like, do you want it literally out of the can with the ridges on it, or do you want like real made?
Weird. It's so
weird. Carl.
Oh, people feel very strongly.
It's a hot debated topic. Is how do you like your cranberry? Is it when I say pour it out of the can, it comes out in one jelloed.
Yes,
and then you cut it in slices, and that's probably the way, like, when Jimmy talks about like spam, and he talks about like, listen, don't mess with spam, there's like so many ways you can use it and stuff like that. That's the way I feel about like people are like, don't mess with the cranberry out of the thing. Mine's not cranberry, mine would be stuffing or dressing depending on where you live. I've always called it stuffing though. And my mom just would always make it's the Pepperidge Farm bag of starter stuffing mix, nothing fancy. And then they would usually I would say this year I did it with diced up apples and some diced up sausage in there, like a sweet, or not a sweet, but like a normal Italian sausage. And that's always been stuffing to me. And then my absolute favorite thing, and I sort of talked about this on, I think after one of our shows, is that is the Turkey Day burrito. So like Thanksgiving, we'll have Thanksgiving at like noon, coming up here in like 2 hours. Like, that's great and family and all that. But the only thing I'm focused on is like 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon when I'm rolling mashed potatoes, turkey, stuffing in a burrito and eating that. Like, oh, Carl, you haven't lived, buddy, until you've had a Turkey Day burrito.
It's you take gravy?
And look, here's the best part, Beth. There's no rules. It's literally whatever you think the best part of Thanksgiving is. You throw in that burrito and you roll it up and you eat it, and your life will be changed. And as I alluded to, I invented the Turkey Day burrito somewhere around 2004 when I was a firefighter. And if I could find the thing, I'd put "Here Comes a Firefighter" story, because I was out late on a call and it was Thanksgiving and we came back and I tried to eat and I got another call and we came back, tried to eat. And they kept covering my plates. And eventually the guys at the house put everything away. And yes, thank you.
Oh, no.
Put everything away in the fridge. And so I finally got back at like 11 o'clock at night and I just tried 3 times to eat Thanksgiving dinner. Everything looked so good. It was all hot and all that.
Yeah.
Got back and now you're in the fridge, right? You're just trying to figure out what did they save me? What could I grab? Whatever. And they had wrapped everything up or whatever. And in the firehouse in our kitchen, we had a professional stove and skillet or grill, whatever you call that, like a flat grill on the side of it.
Yeah.
And one of my captains from time to time would make these like chimichangas, and he would take the burritos and then, skillet on both sides, right? To just give that nice crunch to it or whatever. It was always delicious. So I went into the fridge and I pull out everything and it's like dark and people have already gone to bed and whatever. And I pull out this and that or whatever. And I'm like, there's no bread left. I find a burrito. I put stuffing, turkey, mashed potatoes in it, maybe some gravy, maybe a little bit of gravy. I laid it out in there. I rolled it up. I put it on the skillet. I took the flat knife. I pressed it down. I flipped it. I pressed it down.
Wow, this is a fascinating origin story for a burrito.
I bit into this. The lights came on in the firehouse. The bells rang. The trucks blew their horns. We had the crossing streams like you see sometimes the fire trucks do. This all happened at 11 o'clock at night. And I knew in that moment I had invented something amazing, life-changing, world-changing. And I've been spreading this gospel ever since. And since I've seen food trucks and all that say they have a Turkey Day burrito, and I was like, how dare you? How dare you?
They're taking your idea. Oh, no.
I talked about it too much, Carl. I talked about it too much. I put it out on YouTube. I would make YouTube videos on how to create it and stuff. And I think I shared too much. And now they're taking
and Brian, even if you retained the intellectual property for that, and it was well known that it's Brian Masseri who did this thing to all of us, evolution and advancements are coming along. And here I have one to offer to you, which I just heard about, which is the waffle iron has now come out. So what my family is planning to do is to take all the fixings and put them inside a waffle and bake a waffle off with all of that stuff. So like a burrito, but in a waffle iron.
And I'm mad at that. I think that's going to be delicious. I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something for sure on that one. Okay. So obviously I wanted to share that story because it's a good Thanksgiving story. And I'm only half talking about it. I really did invent it.
Wait. Did Carl tell us what has to be on his Thanksgiving table?
Yeah, he did. He said wait, did you, Carl?
No,
or did we start talking about because you never said you had to get yams.
He did an ode to yams.
Okay, wait. You're right. Absolutely, Carl. Beth, go ahead, Carl. What has to be on the table for you?
I'm gonna go the cheesy route. It doesn't matter what is on the table. It's usually like it isn't Thanksgiving until like families around the table. Like, and that's how kind of it is. Like, because we don't we don't normally get together. Like, we're all over the place. So like brothers are in Vancouver, in-laws are in Langley, in BC, like it's all over. But usually that's the one time a year, not even Christmas, that everyone gets together. And so usually it's like a chaos, but that's like it's family chaos. So that's usually what Thanksgiving.
Do they come to you in Calgary typically?
No, no one comes to us in Calgary. No one's ever been to like, let's have what's Thanksgiving this year. Calgary, no, we're gonna have it in Vancouver. No, it's not even talked about. It's like, why don't you all come here? No. So it's like, okay, well, that's fine, I guess. It's terrible.
Carl's family is always the one traveling, always the one going somewhere else.
Always the one traveling. And it's like, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming out. It's like, thank you, Carl, for coming here, bringing your family here. It's amazing. And it's like, I wish I could say that when all of you.
One time I'd love to say that when you're in Calgary.
No, anyway.
Well, I will say in that line, Carl, I will say that I am thankful. I know Andy, you kind of started on this, but I'm like legit cheesy, I know, but legit thankful for you guys in this show. Because what started as just an idea in a Slack community and me literally I've talked about this before, but the origin story of this show is me literally putting out a Slack message and saying, hey, who wants to do a daily show with me about AI? And I had 6 people respond, or maybe there was more initially, but 6 of us stuck with it, or beyond me. So 7 total. And here we are at, I believe Jumi has corrected me and I have miscounted shows, which does not shock me at all. That somewhere I lost 5 shows and Jumi said, no, we're 5 shows ahead of that, Brian. So by Jumi's count, this is show actually 79. And tomorrow it would be 80. And I thought we were 5 previously. We will get that all fixed and fixed and figured out who was correct on that. But Jumi did send me a screenshot and let's be honest, he's probably correct on
anybody who's listening today, if you'll go back and watch every one and just count, like
please count.
Yeah, or we started August 7th, so I'm sure we could count weeks and then time to my knowledge, we have never skipped a day. That's why we're here today. And who knows what we'll do in the future. But I think the beauty of having somebody from Canada, the beauty of having somebody from Perth, and then various parts around the United States, is that we always felt like we would have somebody who could pop in. And I can hear plates and things being done in the other room right now, but it was like, hey, yeah, I'm not driving. I can pop in for 30 minutes and do this show. So I'm super thankful to you guys. Just want to say, I know we don't have the whole crew here. Aaron and Robert and Jumi are out today, but couldn't be happier with how this all just came together. And I mean, God knows it could have not. We could have just not meshed or not gotten along or had it all wanted to do it, but just not wanted to hang out with each other. And like we legit all look forward to this every day. And I think that's sort of the secret sauce of the show, is that like I think we're all looking forward to having this 30 minutes together every day,
Yeah, it's a great way to
okay, so I want to shift to AI. And I want to say
do it. We got 13 minutes. Do it.
We're thankful for all the flurry of new releases, if you will, and then also for the soap opera quality of the firestorm of turbulence at OpenAI. But I wanted to bring attention to one that's not often talked about on our show. I mean, we make reference to it periodically, but Inflection has delivered its Pi 2 or Inflection 2. It's a 175 billion parameter model that is, by their attestation, it's approximately as good as GPT-4 and better than the others. Now, this is the company by Mustafa Suleyman, who was the original founder of Google DeepMind.
Right.
Is that right? I didn't know.
That's right. Yeah. So he wrote a book that I listened to on audiobooks, which is really compelling. And I encourage anybody to do that. But this is one of the sort of the godfathers of AI, of this, in the modern era, because AI goes way back. But, this new real interactive intelligence that we're playing with is largely due to people like Mustafa. And so Pi is unique in its tuning for conversational dynamics that mimic human dynamics, but with a high degree of intelligence. So it's not available in Pi yet. It was just released, I think, in the last day or so. I mean, the news was released about it, but it's going to be added to Pi. So Pi is going to now be as smart as GPT-4, maybe not able to do some of the things that the sort of the gang of feature functions of OpenAI's GPT-4 mix is able to do, but much more competent probably in some ways conversationally with you as a human. So
that's exciting.
With that.
Mustafa Suleyman's book is called The Coming Wave, for people who want to know that. I'm excited about what you're talking about. And I hope that they have fixed there's been half a second of silence. I must now speak to you.
Yeah, that was a problem.
More than the intelligence, I would like the timing to work.
In the announcement of Inflection 2, he said that this year, 2024 coming up, they will deliver one that's 10x the scale.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And so Andy, like I know we've all played with Pi and we all actually really like it. And then GPT voice came out and that was really easy to use too, although not really the same intended use case, I don't feel, for Pi. Andy, I know you've talked about how you love this idea of this sort of running, not memoir, I don't think that's necessarily right, but like life's work and sharing your knowledge so that it can be documented or in a way and perhaps passed on. Like, how do you see these as you read it, how do you see these new advancements with Pi being part of that? Do you think there's like still pieces missing for you as you use it?
No, it's really a matter of your deliberate attention to recording those things, because what's distinctive about Pi and Inflection is they retain history of your conversations. So you can talk to Pi and reference things that you talked about before long ago. Like it's not clear what the extent of that memory is. That's not the case with GPT. So you don't have a persistent memory of those conversations. You could load a chat history back in if you want to talk about that one chat. But Pi is different in that it's going to remember you. And they're moving toward this personal assistant that can do anything and knows you intimately and knows everything about you. So one of the things that you can do with a platform like that is you can start to share memories about your past. And it's going to be kept by that system. Now, so long as Inflection it is funded and continues to operate, that's risks, obviously, of trying to create a legacy personal history in any kind of system like this. But I trust that what Mustafa Suleyman has built and the degree of funding, I think their original round was 250 million of investment. And so it's like an enormously well-funded enterprise. And they may get to the point of having a very, versatile, competent personal assistant who remembers you before anybody else, because that's what they're focusing on.
I love that. I love that idea. And I wonder if, so, we talked about agents because we're not there yet. And before all the drama in the last week or so, what Sam Altman had talked about at Dev Day, how he felt like custom GPTs were a step towards AI agents, meaning truly autonomous somethings, a personal assistance helping you on the side. But I do wonder if this is another great step in that direction from like Pi, which is, okay, Pi isn't going to make me that reservation or whatever. But if I feel really confident in having daily interactions with Pi, and I know with confidence that I can say something like, can you just send me a really quick email of the summary of this so I remember what needs to happen next, even though it's not technically an agent and going and doing that next step, I still see a huge value in that, of having conversations and going, remind me of that on Wednesday. Now, there's things that do that right now, but I don't know that there's any tools that allow you to do it in such a naturally conversational way. And I think that's where I see Pi having some really, really big, advantages. And I'm going to test what you said too, because I'm curious. I haven't used Pi in quite a while, but I do want to go on there now. Like you said, Andy, and I want to be like, remind me what I was talking about 2 months ago. And I want to see what it'll come up. Or we had a long running joke for a while talking about Pi was telling me it was going to download a file and it can't, or at least now, not yet. And I should go back and ask Pi, hey, how's that download going? And just see if it comes back and be like, still on top of it, boss. Still working on it any day now. We're just putting the last pieces together, from 2 months ago. That's really cool. I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of bullish on Pi. And I didn't know the background of Mustafa and stuff like that, but it sounds like they have a really good, kind of like Anthropic, right? I mean, what they're building and their use cases and, really going after that business market is, at least it seems like that's what Anthropic is pushing with, with Claude 2.1 and on and on and on. So especially as they're trying to drastically reduce, what was it, 5 times less hallucinations or 2 times less hallucinations? What did they say?
Theirs are 2 times less.
2 times. Yeah. Which still, I mean, never mind 5. 2 is still a massive.
Why did they use that expression? We talked about this yesterday.
What do you mean it was 2 times more hallucinating before the last time?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
compared
2
to
times less.
ChatGPT in those studies is still a lot more,
of
right?
hallucinations.
Okay, here's a little math problem for you. I have 10 oranges. I take 3 away. How many times less of oranges do I have?
Some.
Yeah.
You have some less.
1.2 times less oranges, something like that. I don't know. I know
Back to
that
AI.
Anthropic always shares the graphs and stuff like that, and which I do love. I'm sort of a data nerd, and so I do love seeing the graphs and how they're like. It may not seem like a lot to the public, but I'd imagine internally they're very, very proud of what may seem like an incremental move on a graph, because they look at it and they go, "Oh, this is big." I do have a question, because I was on the show yesterday. Did you guys talk about? Obviously, you talked about all the OpenAI stuff, but had the news come out, or that story come out about talking about the internal memos about a perhaps
super intelligent,
dangerous AGI or something? Did that come up on the show yesterday, or was that after the fact?
that was after. You know what I've been doing today is going teach me Q. What is it? Q learning, and that's what I've been just hammering on today, because I think it came out even further about just learning what Q is, and it's different than reinforcement learning through human feedback. And it's like, and somebody did it with like teach me Q as if it's a video game, and it's like, oh, then it clicked. It's like, that's what it is. Obviously it's pretty complex of what it's doing, but essentially,
can you rewind on this, Carl? I don't know what this is. What is Q? What is that?
Now, there are all of these things that will like follow you and remember your life. I want to subscribe to Carl's. I want to be able to go in and like Carl said this. I would like to be able to go for the last 2 hours and like watch Carl's life for those. Like, what did you do?
No, because it's weird, because I was reading, and so my X feed is literally 49ers and like AI. And so when I'm trying to get 49ers news, I was like, I don't need this AI stuff right now. I'm like all the beat reporters, I'm following them. And then it just popped up, and I'm like, oh, please. And I'm like, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. And I did. And then you just do it, and you're like, oh, I wonder what this is. And then I flip to like ChatGPT is like, tell me Q in like grade 12 language. And then it just comes out and it's like, huh. And now teach it to me. It's like, I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, how do I incorporate Q into a GPT? Like it goes that path essentially. So anyway, it was like, now I don't even know if this is legit, because somebody connected what the super intelligence was to, it was like there was a paper on Q that they're trying to solve for, and then all these other creators started saying, hey, what is Q? And then there was like this X or Twitter post by Brian Rommel on like, oh, this is what Q learning is, this is what it means, this is what it does, this is what it engages. And then then another thing popped up with Andre Kaparthi from OpenAI just dropped his video on LLMs, and then you could see all the like, these are the things that LLMs will be able to do. And it's like the dude from OpenAI, like,
yeah,
I take it for like truth. I'm like, that will happen within the next 6 months. This is what an LM will do. So you kind of get down that path. But then, yeah, the Q stuff was really interesting about like, it's different, but that is the path to what, or could be a path that OpenAI is using to train to get to AGI, because then it just learns by itself. Like it learns through that. Yeah, I would go to ChatGPT, have it teach you Q, and then use an analogy like video games, and it'll tell you exactly what that means. In like
and is
a
it
Q
just
table.
is it the letter Q or is it CUE?
Q, the letter Q.
The letter Q. So it's nothing to do with the Q conspiracy.
No, not QAnon stuff. It's no. Like
maybe this new Q will displace the QAnon
time travel, and now we're back
goodness.
to the yes.
No,
okay.
No. But yeah, it's fascinating. It's hard to explain, and like because like when I put like, how can I implement this today? And it's like, it is very different than how an LLM is currently trained, because it is right. So you go down that path, and all it is, like if you were playing a game, it's like at the beginning of the game, your character doesn't know anything. So when it moves forward, like let's say you're moving forward, side, left, right, wherever, it every single time it moves, it learns. So your entire, like let's say, map is updated with what you've learned. So every move you make, it updates every move. And then the table shows you every single plot. There's states and actions. States are places and actions are actions. So every single move you make to a certain state, that updates because you learn. So essentially, AGI is not only does it learn the game, it teaches you how to create a map for the game. So it's a guide to the guide. But then times that by 100, where it's learning everything at once, over and over and over. So essentially, every time it moves independently, it learns, and it just keeps learning. So like that would be the, like, I guess AGI for,
Right.
I don't know, that's how they're teaching it AGI, or that's what the process is from what I've learned from ChatGPT.
So is it like this is Schrodinger's movement? So like you can move in all directions at once, and because you did, all of those are now states that you can learn from?
I maybe think it's that kind of direction. It's just every action you learn from the action, and it updates the map. And then you do another action, updates the map. And so by the time you've made so many moves, you've learned so many things. It's like a role-playing game. From when you start to where you finish, your character is that much more knowledgeable about the map and what to do and all that kind of stuff. So, but times that by 1,000 on multiple different maps, on multiple different characters. And now not only does your character know about the map, it can create more maps by itself, which is
cool. Hey, Carl, can you share the link to the OpenAI executives?
So what I shared in the daily AI chat was a Bing drawing of a turkey burrito. That's what I was. That's what I was looking for. I was like, well, what does that look like? And I was like, oh, that's what it looks like.
Minus the carrots. There's no room for carrots, so get the carrots out of there.
Those are cubed yams.
Those are very skinny yams. That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
We will find the link and put it on the Daily AI show.
And you know what I was going to say too?
The LinkedIn page.
Yeah, Q is totally new to me. I hadn't heard about it. Thank you so much, Carl, for bringing that forward.
Well, I was going to say that exactly, Andy. I was going to say, like, this sounds like exactly a great topic for another show. So I think because Carl is the only one that knows about it, which is usually how we all learn. We learn from Carl and then we go figure it out. Because he's so quick on the draw with it. Maybe we'll take some time and get as spun up as we can. We'll get the other players involved, the other crew involved, and then I don't know. Maybe we'll do a show on this like next week or something like that, or maybe we'll push it the week after so we have some time to do it. But for today, I want to try to keep it close to the 33. I got to get back and go secure some chairs because we have 9 people over for Thanksgiving today, and then it occurred to my wife and I that we don't own a table. We only have an island in the kitchen, so we're constructing tables in the middle of the living room to feed 9 people. But as you said, Carl, it's about family and just having people around. So it doesn't really matter if it's a card table or not. It's having people around. So I'm going to get to that. We'll wrap this up today. Tomorrow, we'll have some of the crew back. I know, Beth, you said you'll definitely be here. I'm sure other people will as well. Talking about Canvas, that should be really exciting. I'm not sure on this one. Got to look at the family plans, but I'll make it if I can. And then, I haven't set up the plans for next week. The only one I know is Wednesday, we'll talk about AI in the news. And then Thursday of next week is 11:30. And the reason that's significant is it's the 1-year anniversary from when ChatGPT was released publicly. Now, it existed, I think, in beta prior to that, if I remember right, but it was wide scale available on 11/30 of 2022. And so I think that will be a fun show to just talk about past, present, and future as it applies to ChatGPT.
Right. And I just want to add one more thing. We've said all these things we're thankful for. Thank you so much for all the people who are listening and
thank you.
participating and engaging, because while we can entertain ourselves for this amount of time, and you have heard us do that, it means more than you know, to know that other people are interested and engaging with us. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'm just threw up the analytics on here. I mean, it was days ago when I was like, hey, we just passed 500. I mean, I just got that email. I just looked at it, 794 on Spotify.
Yay.
Like,
All right.
we're growing by leaps and bounds. So yes, thank you to everybody for that. Well said. All right, that's it. We'll shut it down for today. Happy Thanksgiving to anybody who happens to be listening to this on Thanksgiving, or if you're listening to it after on the replay, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
And
we'll
if
be
you're
back
international,
tomorrow and next week.
hey, have a day. Yay.
I missed out with getting some. We only got rock music. I need some Thanksgiving music here. That's all right.